Gentlemen, are you getting ready to pop the question to that special woman in your life, but are perhaps worried the rock you can afford right now may not cut it? How much should you spend on an engagement ring? Here to tell us is the moneyologist, Quentin Futrell. Hi, Quentin.
Hello.
You have a reader who is ready to pop the question. He's even discussed the ring with his soon-to-be fiancée, and she says, which I thought was a lovely answer, I'll be happy with whatever you can afford, and maybe down the road I can trade it in for something bigger when we can afford it.
Right.
But he's not entirely happy with that answer.
No, he wants to know whether he should spend 2 or 3 months of his salary on the ring. He sees all of these rules online, I suppose, and people tell him things like that. And
right.
I mean, a lot of those so-called rules came from advertising campaigns. And there is no, my advice to him was there is no infallible source, whether it is an advertising campaign, a movie with Marilyn Monroe, or the Pope himself.
The diamond engagement ring is so entrenched, though. How many decades old is it at this point?
You know, honestly, it's only the beginning of the last century, early 20th century, where diamond engagement rings really start to, come into their own. And most engagement rings did not have diamonds, according to some experts. And it was really in 1947 there was a major campaign that said a diamond is forever.
Right. Okay, so you can look at all of this and say this is constructed, and I'm not going to fall for all of this. But at the same time, expectations are there. I mean, you can say the same thing about Mother's Day. It's a Hallmark holiday, but you ignore it at your own peril.
Right. But you have to do something. But you don't have to do what people tell you to do. Now, if his future wife is expecting a ring, then it might be a good idea to buy a ring and to adjust her expectations together as a couple, because they'll be doing a lot of that. This is like the first financial challenge they have. Yes. They're going to be facing a lot of financial challenges when they're married, and this is a good test case.
But I think they have a problem because he feels very sentimental about the first ring, and she doesn't feel as sentimental. She wants eventually a nicer ring. So how are they going to bridge that gap?
Yes, she said he could buy a bigger ring later on.
But he doesn't want to swap it out.
No. But I wonder whether they need to come into couples therapy with that.
Yes, that's right.
I wonder, is she saying that to make him feel better because he feels like he should be buying a bigger ring? And average the ring, it costs between $2,000 and nearly $6,000, depending on which survey you look at. So there's a huge gap.
Is there a formula people should follow when buying?
The only formula I told him was, I don't want to be part of this rules of what you should do that is constructed by years of different industries. So my only rule is to buy what you can afford and what you think is prudent for an engagement ring, because you might want to put money down on an apartment or a home, and that might be money better spent. And every time you look at that ring with a smaller rock of less precious value, it might make you happy because you have a nice home. So it all depends on the person. And I'm not going to tell him to spend X amount of money or even buy a diamond in an engagement ring in the first place. He could buy an engagement ring with some other rock, and later down the road, she could maybe, if they agreed, they could get a ring with a diamond.
Yes, he's got to not be as sentimental about that first ring, though, I think.
Especially when it's costing so much money.
Yes.
I mean, this is not something you should, you need to take the money out of the situation. The value of the amount of carats does not equal the amount of love in this relationship.
Absolutely. Well, we wish them the best, Quentin.
We certainly do.
Thank you so much for that.